es un momento para que lo exhalan y le digo todo lo que necesito.
Okay, so Tracy Ferriter is in court this morning for her plea conference. Good morning, Bama. Looks like there's a couple of cases in front of her. I thought this was going to come on at 8:30 Eastern, but it might have been 8:30 Central Standard Time that this started. I don't think this is her trial. It looks like she's just waiting for them to pull hers up. Hey, Patty, good morning. Hey, Noreen. Oh, and as usual, I'm sorry. I forgot I had the volume of this off. As usual, the volume is horrible.
We've also asked in the motion for PBSO to pay the fees associated with illegally keeping and taking my client's property. That's the relevance.
Is it, where is that sought in the motion though? Because I'm looking at the wherefore clause. You respectfully request me to order PBSO to return the property to the defendant at its sole cost and expense.
Yes.
This is not her
exactly,
case, y'all.
Judge.
This is another case before.
At whose sole cost and
I haven't
expense?
called her yet.
All right. But what he spent is not relevant to whatever it's going to cost PBSO to return the property.
It is, Judge, because he had to pay $3,000 to.
I'm going to sustain the objection.
Thanks.
All right. Any further inquiry?
No, sir.
All right, so we will continue with cross-examination at 1:30, Mr. Cameron. I want everybody on this matter back here at 1:30 sharp for continuation of this hearing.
Thanks, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Yes.
Good morning, counsel. Which case?
Good morning, Judge. How are you?
Good.
Joshua Rydell on behalf of Mr. Manu on page 7 of your Honor's docket. It is a change of plea this morning. We have a negotiated resolution, and at this time, we'd be withdrawing our stand your ground motion that was duly filed. We had it set before your Honor. Yes, Judge.
Any exculpatory evidence or DNA? And do we have victim input on this? They're in accord with the agreement. All right, Mr. Manu, raise your right hand, please.
Okay.
You
Hang
swear
on.
to tell the truth, the whole truth. Did you have an opportunity to read, review, and go over this document with your attorney prior to signing?
Yes, sir.
And did he explain all the terms and
I'm
conditions
about-
and answer all your questions regarding the terms of the plea?
Yes, sir.
I'm probably
And do
about
you in fact
15 minutes
understand the
behind the
terms of
live
the plea
stream.
that you signed and presented to the court?
Yes, sir.
All right, so let me go over it with you again, sir, just to be clear. You're going to
Hey,
be pleading
Harry.
guilty in case number 23 CF 002-498 to a third-degree felony in count one for felony battery. PSI is waived. You will be adjudicated as to the felony, which means you will have a conviction on your record for the felony. You'll be subject to standard fine, standard court cost, $200 cost of prosecution. And the sentence will be for 5 years of probation, the terms of which will be as follows. The first year will be drug offender probation, and that carries with it a curfew, doesn't it?
Yes, and that's labeled below.
It's in the plea. All right. All right. So the terms of the probation, besides the first year being drug offender probation, are as follows. You complete a substance abuse evaluation and successfully completing your recommended treatment. You must enroll in that program within 30 days. No possession or consumption of alcohol or drugs without a valid prescription with random testing at your expense. And that's a long time for 5 years if you like alcohol to go without. But I do need to let you know that any kind of violation or random test will be a violation of the probation, and you could be looking at custodial time. The custodial part of the sentence will be for how many days?
It was just, I think we just.
1 day.
1 day with credit for time served of 1 day. And you understand that by entering into this plea, you waive any right to claim anything more than the 1 day credit for time served, correct, sir?
Right.
All right. Under the other comments and conditions of the plea, as I said, this the first year includes drug offender probation, which also has a curfew with it from 10 p.m. to 7 a.m. and increased drug testing. You're also to complete a 12-hour anger management course, and you're not to have any contact with the victim in this matter. You understand all those terms, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, next document I'm showing you is a waiver of right sheet on the left-hand side. Are those your initials?
Yes, sir.
Same document, second page. In the middle there, is that your signature with your initials to the left-hand side above it?
Yes, sir.
Did you have an opportunity to read, review, and go over this waiver sheet with your attorney prior to signing it?
Yes, sir.
And did your attorney explain all the terms and conditions and answer all your questions regarding the waiver?
Yes, sir.
And do you in fact understand the rights you've waived by virtue of having signed that document?
Yes, sir.
All right, so Mr. Manu, in addition to certain constitutional and other rights that you would have discussed with your attorney, I do need you to know, understand two things this morning. One, you are expressly waiving the right to a trial by jury. And two, you are expressly waiving the right to confront any witnesses that may have testified adverse.
Okay, so just really quickly, you guys, if you're familiar with the boy in the box case, it was referred to as the boy in the box case. It's Timothy and Tracy Ferriter. They're on trial, or he has already been convicted. She is now going on trial for, oh, forgive me, I forget the charges, the total charges. I got to pull them up on my banner.
Resolution, but obviously you have to complete your probation successfully. If you're not successful, then you could be looking at least the 36 months. You understand all that? So that should be enough incentive for you to comply with your probation. You understand that, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right. Are you pleading guilty this morning, sir, because you recognize at least the possibility that had this matter gone to trial, it's possible that a jury could have found you guilty?
Yes, sir.
All right, as I indicated, you are going to be adjudicated, which means you will have conviction on your record, which means as a convicted felon, you will lose your civil rights. That includes the right to vote and also the right to possess any firearms, weapons, or ammunition. In addition, this adjudication may subject you to greater or enhanced penalties if you commit a crime in the future. And if you're not a legal United States citizen, this could alter your immigration status, leading to your removal from the country. Do you need any additional time to discuss any immigration issues with your attorney?
No, sir.
All right, and one last thing I will tell you, although you're not doing prison time right now, if you violate the probation and you're sentenced to prison, that will also subject you potentially to greater enhanced penalties if you commit a crime within 3 years after your release as a prison releasee reoffender, and those enhancements can be quite substantial. Have you had enough time to discuss everything this morning with your attorney regarding the resolution of this matter?
Yes, sir.
And has he answered all questions to your satisfaction?
Yes, sir.
Do you have any questions of me, Mr. Manu, about anything I've discussed or explained to you this morning?
No, sir. I
All
don't.
right, do you still wish to go forward with this plea?
Yes, sir.
All right, at this time, counsel, do you wish to enter a change of plea on the record?
Judge, we'd withdraw our previously entered plea of not guilty and enter a plea of guilty.
All right, based on defense counsel's change of plea on the record and also your testimony, sir, I find that you're entering into this plea knowingly and intelligently after having had the opportunity to receive the advice and counsel of your attorney. I also find that I've explained to you and that you understand and appreciate the nature and consequences of entering into this plea. You're doing everything this morning freely and voluntarily, as you testified, and upon a sufficient factual basis. Therefore,
Hey,
I
Tina.
accept the plea. I also approve of the plea agreement and hereby sentence you and adjudicate you in accordance with its terms. Madam Clerk, court calls, please.
$618.
$618. What's your request on it? 6 months to pay will be fine. All right, best of luck to you, sir. Thank you.
Judge, two issues, if I may, and I don't think the state has any objection. My client resides in Broward, owns a business in Palm Beach. So can we have tri-county travel or bi-county travel?
You need an order on that, Madam Probation? All right, so just write it out in order. Assuming, Mr. Walsh, you have no objection to that?
Yes, sir.
And then the other one, I don't think he objects to either, is my client currently is in custody of his children. They spend probably half the year in Tennessee. As long as he provides an itinerary for the purposes of bringing his kids back, we just want to be able to have him allowed to travel to Tennessee with an itinerary.
Yeah,
Not more than 30 days. You don't need an order, or is that something that's, okay. All right, good enough.
I'll add it to the short order and I'll provide
Okay,
it.
all right. Thank you. All right, good morning, counsel. Which case?
Morning, Judge. Joe Walsh from the Public Defender's Office here for Brittany Ruiz. She's on page, I think, 19
Hang
of
on.
the
Let
docket,
me see if I
Judge.
can forward it.
Yeah.
Your Honor, that matter is a speedy on your.
Page 12. 4.
Yes, and we're requesting to reset this for Wednesday when Mr. Kelly.
Okay, it's fixing to come up.
All right, I've signed the order. Passing it over to the clerk.
Could you get a copy of that? Is there a way you could get a copy of it?
Okay.
Also, standing on Miss Tammy Garcia's case, if we could call that up on page 4.
And you'll recall Teeter when you have the plea paperwork. Yeah. Garcia on page 4.
Yes, and we're requesting to reset this for Wednesday when Mr. Kelly's back.
I filed a motion, Judge, and I understand, I've had a lot of communications with Mr. Kelly about it, so I would rather this be heard with Mr. Kelly on Wednesday.
On Wednesday, okay.
That's our
what,
attorney. Right there.
Right, Garcia is reset for a motion on June 26th.
All right, thank you.
Why are they just walking around the courtroom like that? That's weird.
All right, good morning, counsel. Which case?
I'm here for Kenton Williams on page 15 of the docket. It's here for a motion for early termination of probation.
All right, Kenton Williams is here on motion for early termination.
This is going to be a quick in and out. We're just going to find out whether or not she's going to
And
plead
Your Honor, just
guilty
for
or
the
not
record,
guilty.
The only outstanding condition is
Or
cost of
will she take the
supervision of
deal?
$500 and something. Mr. Williams has a check for $450 right now to pay off at least most of the cost of supervision.
So he will have complied with all terms of the,
Right, except for the balance of 100 something of cost of supervision, but he's paid court costs, he's finished everything else, and probation has indicated they have no objection.
so what is the amount of the cost of supervision that he will not have paid as of today?
$594.88, Judge.
What's the check that you have today?
$450, sir.
I have to hear from the attorney.
Did you guys all have a good weekend?
Counsel, is the 450 for cost of supervision or for something else?
Cost of supervision,
So that means it'll only be about $100 left?
$144.88 to be.
Okay. Okay.
If the court is going to grant the motion, either waive that or just he'll pay that off.
All right, so what's the state's position?
Judge, I'm ultimately deferring to Your Honor. He has completed all conditions. He has no violations. The only outstanding term is the cost of supervision. So that'd be the only reason I'm objecting, but I'd really ultimately defer to Your Honor.
All right, so here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to grant the motion in part. I'm going to convert to administrative. It will automatically be terminated when he pays the remaining balance on the cost of supervision. So it's within his power. Come back with 100, 150, whatever's owed, and it'll be terminated automatically once probation receives full cost of supervision.
With the admin supervision comes to $52 fee. Would you want to waive the $52 fee that would be required?
For the conversion, I'll waive the cost of the conversion simply because I'm trying to give him a little more time to come up with a full amount so it can be outright.
Yes, Your Honor. And will Madam Probation from the court accept the check or does he have to pay it to?
It was hot. Hey, Kelly.
Okay, okay.
I think
Thank you.
she's free,
All right,
Kelly.
so
She's not.
just write out an
in
order that
handcuffs.
indicates that I'm granting it provided that the full cost of supervision are paid. And as soon as they're paid, then the probation will be terminated as of that effective date.
At your OLS because I need to run to a different courtroom right now.
Okay, all right, okay. Well, let me make sure, you gonna do the order this morning, or how are you gonna get it?
By the end of the day.
All right, that'll be fine. It'll come to my queue. Okay.
No.
Yeah, we were in the pool. Our pool's getting
All right,
warm.
Ms. Overman, which case?
Page 8, Isaiah Martin.
And I'm standing in for Mr. Weinbaum.
Your Honor, Tracy Ferriter.
Oh, you are? Okay.
Yep.
The public defender moves to withdraw.
Okay, ordinance motion of the PD to withdraw is granted. This is in, what's your name, counsel?
Tracy Nemorowski will waive arraignment. I think we already did. We'll waive speedy and request discovery.
All right, so speedy is waived, discovery is requested. So normally set case, status check 60 days out with a waiver. Everybody.
Just over for Mr. Weinbaum, I'm sure.
All right, so status check in Martin, 60 days out. August 19th. Does that work for you, Ms. Naronski? All right, good enough. All right, thank you.
And for the record, Your Honor, he is present.
Okay, thank you.
Morning, Your Honor.
Good morning, Ms. Warmer. Which case?
Standing in for Mr. Kelly, I can call Ronald Dowes on page 3 of Your Honor's docket.
All right, Dow's is here for a plea conference. Is going to plead?
It is not, Your Honor. This case was set for a plea conference and set on 2-hour call when we were in Judge Shirt's courtroom. Speedy trial doesn't run until the end of September. Mr. Kelly was asking to place this on the 2-hour call in August. I think it's currently, I don't know what 2-hour call it is. I guess it would be on 6/24 2-hour call. So at this time, we would be requesting to set it in August and a plea conference in mid-July.
All right, so first order is to set it for the August 5th trial docket 2-hour call. How many days to try the case? How many jurors?
Just one moment, standing in for Ms. Santos on this. Judges, be it 2 to 3 days. State is okay with 40 jurors.
All right, and then let's set a final plea conference mid-July.
July 17th.
All right,
Thank you, Your Honor.
plea conference July 17th. Anything else I need to address this morning?
This case, Your Honor.
All right, thank you.
I can also call Luis Gutierrez on page 4.
It was on 2-hour call for June 24th, is it?
That's why that's to strike.
Judges, this was one where it was covered by Judge Shepard. They didn't waive speedy, so she just put it right on
All
track.
right, okay. All right, so it's stricken from 2-hour call for July 20th.
Solve.
And I'll contact.
Just a status check, not plea conference. All right, status check 2 weeks out in Irvin.
Hey, Crazy Casey.
July 17th, does that work for everybody? All right, that's
She's
the date
fixing to
then.
come up, guys. I fast forwarded it. I'm about 15 to 20 minutes behind.
That was Miss Ruggiero. Ruggiero. You just wanted your name.
Oh, yes, Alexa Ruggiero.
Thank you so much. You covered Miss Gorman. All right, which case, counsel?
Good morning, Your Honor. I am calling Tavia Stewart, page 12 of the docket. Mr. Stewart is present via Zoom. And this is with Ms. Rogers. I spoke with her this morning. She filed a motion to take Mr. Stewart's fingerprints. We have no legal objection to that motion. And we asked for, we wanted it to be set on Wednesday for the actual print.
2 days from now?
Yes.
So resetting the status check for, the motion is being granted, I guess, by being unopposed. All right, so I'll set it for, I'm going to set it for motion, so the defendant is required to be here. So we'll have the motion heard, and it's going to be unopposed. We'll set that for Wednesday. Will be, what, the 26th, June 26th?
All right, so Mr. Stewart, just make sure you're here in the courtroom this Wednesday, June 26th at 8:30.
All right, you understand that, right, sir? All right, I'll see you on the 26th then.
Wednesday, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we ready to do the plea in Ferriter?
Here we
Okay.
go. Bruiser's excited.
Let me have counsel approach.
They've muted it for since they're having a little private sidebar. Stop. Bruiser, stop. He didn't start barking until her case came up. He thinks he's being cute. All right, so here we're gonna find out. Is she gonna plea? Is she going to? What's she gonna do? If she takes the plea, Tina P says she thinks she's taken the plea. I want to see what the plea is. Let me see if I can find the details while we're watching that. I guess they're still negotiating it, so we wouldn't know. That's true, Patty, less than 5 years. Because he got 5 years sentenced, which we were all very upset about. We thought he deserved way more. These children are going to have to live with this their entire lives. So it'll be interesting. Watch the judge give her like some kind of lockdown or something at home. What do they call that when they lock them in at home?
All right, so court calls up the matter of State versus Ferriter. I have a plea agreement in this matter. Let me hear factual basis from the state.
Yes, Your Honor. Honor, between December 28th, 2021 and January 28th, 2022, the victim in this case, RF, was the adopted son of the defendant, Tracy Ferriter. At that time, they were living in Jupiter, Florida, in which the victim was staying in an enclosed structure, an 8x8 in the garage. In that garage, the victim would spend a majority of his time with limited access to being outside of that room besides school and sometimes dinners. While in that enclosed structure, the victim had to use the bathroom in a Home Depot bucket. He was not allowed to have access to the air conditioner that was controlled by Mrs. Ferriter. Also, he would not be able to get out of the room. The lock was on the outside. At that time, they also had access to the defendant had access to the light in which he would stay in the room for hours on end. There was a ring camera that the co-defendant in the case had installed, which depicted all of the days between December 28th and January 28th. The defendant could be identified, and these events occurred in Palm Beach County, Florida.
All right, both sides stipulate to a factual basis for purposes of the plea this morning.
State stipulates.
Defense so stipulates.
All right, is there any exculpatory evidence or DNA that the court needs to be made aware of as part of this plea?
No, Your Honor.
All right, and do we have victim input through the attorney ad litem or the guardian ad litem?
Yes, Your Honor. I spoke to her. She is in agreement. She knows what the terms will be. And just so Your Honor knows, I did speak to the foster family of the two older daughters, and she also is in agreement and just wants the family to move on.
All right, so from the standpoint of the court's review and consideration of this, it's fair to assume then I have agreement from all constituent parties with respect to this agreement, including the state, the defense, the attorney ad litem for the victim, and the foster parents or guardians for the other two children.
Yes, Your Honor.
Okay. All right. Ms. Ferriter, go ahead and raise your right hand for me, please. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth so help you God?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right, you can put your hand down, ma'am. You can go ahead and put your hand down, and do speak up if you could for me. Go ahead and state your name and date of birth, please.
Tracy Ferriter, 10/19/75.
And do you read, write, and understand English?
Yes.
What is your highest level of education?
college degree.
All right. Are you under the influence of any drugs, alcohol, or other medications this morning?
No, sir.
Have you ever been treated for any mental or emotional condition?
No, sir.
And you understand that what's happening this morning is as far as the court considering and reviewing your plea and determining whether to approve, correct?
Yes.
And you are represented by your attorneys this morning, is that correct?
Yes.
And are you satisfied with their services regarding the disposition of this matter through this plea agreement that you've signed and presented to the court?
Yes.
Has anybody, including your attorneys, made any promises, threats, or tried to force you into entering into this plea against your will?
No, sir.
Are you doing everything this morning freely and voluntarily?
Yes.
All right, Ms. Ferriter, the first document I'm going to show you is a document titled Plea in the Circuit Court. Second page of that, where I'm holding up, is that your signature, ma'am?
Yes, sir.
All right, did you have an opportunity to read, review, and go over this document with your attorney prior to signing?
Yes, sir.
And did they explain all the terms and conditions and answer all your questions regarding the terms of this plea?
Yes, sir.
And do you in fact understand the terms of the plea that you've signed and presented to the court?
Yes.
All right, so let me go over it again, and I do need to add, there is no signature for the judge here. I'm going to add a line there because this is a little bit different than my normal form. I'm going to go over the agreement with you at this point, ma'am, to make sure that you're clear on the terms. You will be pleading guilty in case number 22 CF 001136 A and B to the following charges: a first-degree felony in count 1 for aggravated child abuse, a third-degree felony in count 2 for false imprisonment, and a third-degree felony in count 3 for neglect of a child. PSI is waived or not required. You will be adjudicated as to all 3 counts, which means you will have convictions on your record for each of the 3 felonies I've just explained to you. The sentence will be as follows. You will be sentenced to a period of 10 years of probation as follows. 10 years of probation as to count 1, 5 years of probation as to count 2, and 5 years of probation as to count 3, all to run concurrent. In addition, all conditions of probation must be successfully completed no less than 30 days before your probation is scheduled to terminate. And the terms and conditions of the probation are as follows. You'll be subject to standard fine and cost. You'll also be subject to cost of prosecution of $200. You will be subject to random drug testing at your expense. And you'll be required to complete 300 hours of community service at a rate of not less than 10 hours per month.
To do also a mental health evaluation, number C.
Yeah, I didn't see that. It's checked, but so as part of this.
Unbelievable. Hold your hand out. Let us slap it.
Yes,
So-
I checked the wrong thing. It's not the random drug testing, it's the mental health.
Okay, so let me have you make that change and have Ms. Ferriter initial it. That's why I didn't mention mental health before, because it wasn't checked.
What about the mental health? She's got to have evaluations. Is she going to get her kids back now? Probably.
And I think on the signature page, I should have a date by each of those signatures, so it's clear that all of them have been executed today. So if you could just do that.
That's fine, just initial it. Just initial it.
You may, did you date the signature page?
No, sir.
Let's put a date by each of the signatures so I can just make sure that it's all dated.
So she gets to go on and live her life normally. I mean, she's on probation.
Day, right? One day.
Me too, Patty.
Just date it right there.
It's not even house
You can
arrest. Kelly, that's horrible.
All right, so Ms. Ferriter, let me just backtrack just for a moment. The random drug testing at your expense, that is not a condition of the probation. That has been stricken. What is a condition that I didn't allude to earlier is that you will be required to undergo a mental health evaluation and successful completion of any recommended treatment, and you must enroll within 30 days of house arrest into that program. You understand all that? Again, the 300 hours of community service at a rate of not less than 10 hours per month still applies. And the sentence, the custodial part is for 2 days with credit for time served of 2 days. And you understand that by entering into the plea, you waive any right to claim anything more than the 2 days credit for time served. You understand all that? All right, there are other comments and conditions that I need to go over with you on this plea, so let me proceed with that. You're also going to be required to submit a DNA sample by oral swab as a part of this plea. You understand that?
Yes, sir.
All right, and then under the other comments and conditions, they provide as follows. You may transfer probation to Cook County, Illinois. If you transfer probation and you're accepted in Cook County, you must start in-house arrest within 14 days of being accepted to Cook County. The in-house arrest shall be for a period of 1 year as a condition of probation. If you are not accepted to Cook County to serve your sentence within 60 days of this plea agreement, you shall be required to be on the Palm Beach County Sheriff's Office in-house arrest program for a period of 1 year. So in that event, that means you'd have to come back to Florida in Palm Beach County to serve out the 1 year of in-house arrest, because I know there's a way that they could do in-house arrest in Illinois. So any violations of either Cook County, Illinois in-house arrest or PBSO in-house arrest shall be considered a violation of probation. As a condition of probation, you shall complete an in-person 12-hour anger management class. You also shall complete an in-person triple P parenting course or a similar type of parenting course in Cook County, Illinois. If permitted by probation, you must enroll in the anger management and parenting course within the first 90 days of starting in-house arrest. You're not allowed to have any contact with RF, and you agree to waive extradition to Florida in the event there's a violation of probation. And you shall not be employed where the primary purpose is to interact with children. And you are allowed to have contact with the co-defendant, Timothy Ferriter. Do you understand all those terms and conditions I've just outlined for you?
Yes.
Okay. You have any questions of the court about anything I've just discussed or explained to you?
No, sir.
All right, give me just a moment here.
Probation might have an issue when it comes to the 12-hour intervention and triple P while she's on house arrest, because we don't get to monitor them while they're in the house. They're considered in a jail status.
Say that again.
While she's in the in-house arrest status, we consider a jail.
Because if she has to put it in 90
So we
days.
would do 12-hour anger management with parenting class while she's in.
And also, so she's got a story.
Any responses on that?
Your Honor, I would wait and see if she does get transferred to Cook County first, and if she does not, then we could always bring it in. But I don't have any objection if that's the case, if they want her to serve her in-house arrest first, and then she can go ahead and do the anger management and parenting course after that.
And Your Honor, we have that in the plea, if permitted by probation, she must enroll. So if probation doesn't permit her, then she'll have to wait till they do permit her.
Yeah, all right, I think it's covered by the plea too. Okay, all right, good enough. All right, Ms. Ferriter, the next document I'm showing you is a document titled Waiver of Rights Sheet. On the left-hand side of the page that I'm holding up, are those your initials?
Yes,
All right, same document, second page. In the middle, is that your signature with your initials on the left-hand side above it? Did you have an opportunity to read, review, and go over this waiver sheet with your attorney prior to signing it? And did your attorneys explain all the terms and conditions and answer all your questions regarding the terms of the waiver? And do you in fact understand the rights that you've waived by virtue of having signed that document? All right, so in addition to certain constitutional and other rights that you would have discussed with your attorney, I do need you to know and understand two things this morning with respect to the waiver. One, you are expressly waiving the right to a trial by jury. And two, you are expressly waiving the right to confront any witnesses that may have testified adverse to you had this matter gone to trial. You understand all that? All right. Last document I'm going to show you is a criminal punishment code score sheet. Did you have an opportunity to go over this document with your attorneys?
Yes, I did.
All right, so you're aware then that you scored 128.00 sentence points, which computed out to a sentence that I've been sentencing in accordance with the guidelines, as opposed to this plea of 75 months in the Department of Corrections. So this is a favorable resolution, but it does have a very lengthy period of probation. So there is risk to you that if you violate probation, you could be looking at substantial custodial time in the Department of Corrections in Florida. You understand all that? All right, Ms. Ferriter, are you pleading guilty to the charges in the plea agreement because you recognize at least the possibility that had this matter gone to trial, it is possible that a jury could have found you guilty? All right. As I indicated, you are going to be adjudicated, which means as a result of this plea, you will become a convicted felon. And in Florida, that means you will lose your civil rights, that includes the right to vote, and also the right to possess firearms, weapons, or ammunition. In addition, this may subject you to greater or enhanced penalties if you commit a crime in the future. And if you're not legally a United States citizen, this could alter your immigration status, leading to your removal from the country. Do you need any additional time to discuss any immigration issues with your attorney? All right, this plea does not right now involve a Department of Corrections sentence, but it could come into play if you violate the probation. So I am also going to advise you as part of this plea this morning, if you are ultimately sentenced to time in prison as a result of a violation of probation, that could subject you also to greater or enhanced penalties as a prison releasee reoffender if you commit a crime within 3 years of your release from custody. So that's additional incentive, obviously, while you're on probation to make sure that you strictly comply with all the terms and conditions. You understand all that, ma'am? All right, have you had enough time to discuss everything with your attorneys this morning that concerns you regarding the resolution of this matter?
Yes.
And have they answered all questions to your satisfaction? All right, Ms. Ferriter, do you have any questions of me about anything that I've discussed or explained to you this morning regarding the terms of this plea?
No.
All right. Do you still wish to go forward with this plea agreement?
Yes.
All right, at this time, counsel, do you wish to enter a change of plea?
On behalf of Ms. Ferriter, she withdraws her previously entered plea of not guilty and enters plea of guilty.
Okay. All right, based on defense counsel's change of plea on the record and also your testimony, Ms. Ferriter, I find that you're entering into this plea knowingly and intelligently after having had the opportunity to receive the advice and counsel of your attorney. I also find that I've explained to you and that you understand and appreciate the nature and consequences of entering into this plea this morning. You're doing so freely and voluntarily and upon a sufficient factual basis. Therefore, I accept your plea of guilty to the charges in the plea agreement. After review and consideration of the plea agreement and also representations to the court that all constituent parties to this circumstance have agreed and consented to this resolution, including the victim RF, in this case, his attorney ad litem, and also the other two children through their foster parents and guardians having consented to this. So that is enough based on the court's understanding of the facts and circumstances of this to approve of this plea agreement. And with that approval, I hereby sentence you and adjudicate you in accordance with the terms of the plea agreement. Madam Clerk, court calls, please.
$2,000 even.
$2,000 even. What's your pleasure on that?
Can that be a condition of probation, Your Honor?
Condition of probation, but I'll have it to be paid within 5 years because the probation runs 10. I'd rather it be paid in a shorter period of time. Okay. All right. Anything else I need to address with the court or with the attorneys? All right. All right. So the when was it set for a special set? July 12th. So the July 12th special set is hereby stricken. There's no need to remand at this point. So all I can say at this point, Ms. Ferriter, I wish you the best. All right. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Judge.
Oh, my goodness.
Okay, Mr. Soden, good morning. Which case?
Good morning, Your Honor, on page 12, Sarah.
Okay, so here's what we're looking at. Let's go over it one more time. 10 years probation, fines and cost, which from what I saw, it was at least $2,200. 300 hours of community service. She must have mental health evaluations regularly. 1 year of in-house arrest. And from what I'm looking at, I think, Patty, you and I were talking, I guess that is included within the, let me take this off. The 1 year in house arrest would be included within that 10 years. So she's got the 1 year house arrest and then 9 years probation after that. This is what I'm thinking. She must submit a DNA sample. If she transfers to Illinois, it sounds like she's wanting to move to Illinois, Cook County, then she has to transfer all that over to Illinois, and it all applies. She has to do 12 hours of anger management, 12 hours of parenting courses. She can have no contact with the victim in the case. They didn't say anything about the other children. Did you guys hear them say anything about the other children? Please put it in the chat if you did, because I did not. It just said the victim. She cannot have any employment that would put her around other children. Okay, Patty said her children are already in Illinois. Okay, so she's going to have contact with her other children. But the foster children are in foster care, a different foster home. She can, oh, and they did allow her, they're going to allow her to be in touch with Timothy. So she'll be able to talk to him or go visit him in prison or whatever. And of course, as a convict now, she cannot vote and she can have no firearms. Let's just hope she screws up and gets thrown in the slammer for something big. Troy said no. They didn't say anything. I didn't think they did. So, yeah, she's going to be able to get her kids back. The foster children who have been affected by this are going to get thrown back into the system. Well, they're with foster parents. And I do believe we've listened to what the other foster parents have to say in the past in our other coverage, in our coverage of this case. And they seem to be really good people and they really seem to care about the kids. So that's good. But yeah, y'all, this is horrible. If she screws up, Patty said, if she screws up, I wonder what would happen then. Oh, please let her. Please let her, because I would love to see it. I mean, think about it. She could get like something as simple as, I don't know, what could she get? Maybe she goes off the hinges and drinks and drives or something, you know? I'm trying. Yeah, Laura, a nice little slap on the hand. Exactly. Meanwhile, this boy and the other foster children have to live with this the rest of their lives. And her children, her biological children, have to deal with this because they're going to have other kids pointing the finger, you know, saying stuff to them about their parents being felons or being arrested or being abusers. The judicial system in this case was a joke. And when I first saw this judge at the beginning of the father's trial, I was like, yeah, he's going to get him. He's going to be tough. Nope. I hope his wife is in his ear on this, reaming him out. Hey, Mark. Thanks for joining in. So if you just got in, you'll have to rewind because I've already gone over it. It already happened. This judge was a wuss. He was a complete wuss. Oh, it's sad. It's so sad. Well, I think what I'm going to do is I'll have to trim this out and create a new video with it. And then I'll put it up so I can trim out all the fat from the beginning. Because if you did come in late, we had to wait for it to come up on the docket. Okay, so guys, I've been covering that case with Daniel Callahan, and then it came up to the missing case of John Estes. And Dixie Hempfield, who is the sister of Daniel Callahan, did reach out in the comments. And I'm trying to see if she will come on and do a discussion with me because I'd like to ask her some questions. She did confirm that Daniel Callahan was not in jail at the time that John Estes went missing. So if you guys haven't seen that, please go back and watch that video. This is interesting, you guys. This could be something that opens up this case for missing John Estes. And who knows, as part of his, terms of prison or something like that, maybe he will speak about what's going on with John Estes. Maybe they're already figuring it out right now behind the scenes and we just don't know yet. I really think, and she said that she thought he's in that area. His sister said she thought that Callahan was in that area at the time of John's disappearance. So I hope Dixie gives me the opportunity, because I think that I told her, I said, look, if you listen to my subs, I'm not going to disrespect you. I'll be ethical. It's not about the views. I want to know. I want to know what happened. And I want to help bring closure to the family of John Estes, because this case has not been covered well enough at all. And if you haven't watched it, I've put it up within the last couple of days. So just go back on my channel and look. It's Daniel Callahan's connection to the missing man. So you guys are with me now. Do you want to go over some morning news? Some other stuff that I've got pinned to talk about? Or do you want me to call it and then I'll do something later? Because if you sit here with me, we might be sitting here for a bit. I think I'd rather do it on a separate live stream or a separate stream altogether. I like to pre-record it and cut out the fat. Y'all know me. Hey, Mel, good morning. It's Monday. So I guess that's all. I guess that's it for everything. Yeah, I'm going to cut it. And then I'm going to pre-record some stuff. I've got a bunch of cases I wanted to just talk about that have happened. Yeah, let's call it. And then I'll put that up by tonight. Hopefully I can get it trimmed by tonight and get it up for you guys. Okay. Thanks for joining in with me to watch this. I appreciate you guys. I know you could have been elsewhere. So y'all stay blessed and I will talk to you very soon. Okay. Love y'all.